Hey guys, in this GuitarLessons.com gear review, we're going to be taking a look at V-Picks. Now, if you've never heard of V-Picks before, they think they stand for Vinny Picks because he's the guy that owns the company. Anyway, they're cast acrylic picks. They're basically a really high grade of plexiglass. So they have a lot of advantages. They're handmade and or laser cut picks, so they're really custom made picks. And you might think they're a bit expensive. They start at like $3, and some of their most expensive ones go up to 20 or 30 bucks. But I would say the average price is around $4 or $5 for these guys. And you know, you may be thinking $4 or $5 for a pick. Are you crazy? You know, before you dismiss me and say that, bear with me for just a second. You know, we as guitar players, we're always trying to find new ways to improve our tones or get different tones, whether it's through strings, new guitars, pedals, amps, stuff like that. And I've actually found that V-Picks are a way to quite drastically change the tone of your guitar without having to spend a ton of money. You know, if I can get 4 pretty distinct different tones out of my guitar, a guitar that I already have for, you know, 16 bucks, I think that's a pretty good deal. So I'm gonna let you take a close look at some of the V-Picks that I got. I got like a variety pack, so I got a whole bunch of different kinds. I'll let you take a look at those, and then I'll go through the ones that I like the best and show you what some of the advantages are to these V-Picks and some of the different sounds you can get from them. Now, if you're into thinner picks, you're probably gonna like the ULP series, the ultralight picks. And my favorite one out of all of these guys was the small ULP, because I kind of like jazz threes, but I like to be able to strum at the same time, so that was my favorite. These guys up here, they're traditional ultralights, are really good for acoustic too. I really like that. If you're into a little bit thicker of a pick, these light large are basically the same thing as the ULPs, the large and the small, but they're just a bit thicker too. Now the traditional picks, the traditional series, are shaped a little bit more like, you know, your traditional teardrop shaped, you know, Fender picks or Dunlops. They're just substantially thicker, like the traditional 4.0 pick. This thing is just huge. Look at that. The stiletto and the switchblade kind of fall into their own little category here. They're very sharp, pointy picks, and the bevel on them is quite extreme, and it's not finished, so it gets a really nice attack on the initial sound of the notes, like most of the rest of these V-Picks do. But if you're into metal and you like a really nice, chuggy downstroke kind of a sound, like Metallica kind of stuff, or if you're into Dream Theater and like a really nice sharp attack on the front of your notes when you're playing fast, these guys are really good for that. The rounded picks are really great if you're into like more of a B.B. King or jazz, or maybe even some Santana kind of stuff, where you want a real soft attack on the note, the initial note when you're playing, almost like you're using your fingers. These guys are just a little bit thicker version of the light smalls over here. And this one actually glows in the dark. That's pretty cool. These two guys over here, the pearl looking ones, are really awesome. This one, the Screamer, is awesome for playing fast and really precise stuff, while this one is meant more for acoustic stuff, I believe. Now we come to the last little column over here. It's kind of an oddball column because these guys are just super thick, and you get a really unique tone out of your guitar with these guys. The Snake, Dimension, and the B-flat. The B-flat, I'll show you what that one sounds like. That was one of my favorite kind of novelty ones to me. So the V-Pick that I chose out of all of these picks that I tried was the small ULP. I think it's ultralight pick. That's what it stands for. Anyway, if you're into jazz 3-picks, this one or just the regular light is a really, really nice alternative. It gets a little bit sharper tone. The attack on it's a little nicer, in my opinion. I've used jazz 3s for a long time. And just overall, it's very, very accurate pick. But, you know, it's worth it just to have fun. Order you some picks for $4, you know, and ABM if you don't like them, you know, that's fine. It's only $4, right? It's not like you went out and bought a $100 pedal. So let me just give you an idea of what some of these picks sound like. This one, as you can see, is pretty thick. It's called a B-flat, and it has a really extreme bevel on the edges that's unfinished. And it's really cool because it gives you almost kind of a whooshy, chorusy sound on your guitar. It almost sounds like it's a 12-string. Here, I'll set a clean tone and let you hear it for you. One thing that I should mention is the bigger V-Picks look pretty extreme. They look just thick, right? But you know, if you're older and you have trouble holding on to your pick, or if you have some kind of arthritis or injury that is kind of impeding your progress on your guitar and your ability to hold on to a pick, these bigger picks are really easy to hold on to. Now, if you don't like thick picks, you're just like, Nate, I can't do the thick stuff. V-Picks does make thinner, more pliable picks too. They're the laser cut ones. They're still made of the same material, but they're the traditional ultralight picks. So if you're like the strummy, kind of a snappier sound with your strumming, you could still try one of these out too. That's one of the favorite ones for like strumming around on the guitar. One thing that's really cool about these V-Picks is the way that they wear. They're made of such hard material that a $4 pick isn't gonna just wear down on you like some, pick you buy at your local music store for 25 or 50 cents. Anyway, this is one of the rounded picks. It's one of the more jazzy picks that I tried out. And you get a lot more mellow of a tone. It's a real thick, rounded edge. So if you want a more mellow tone, this is probably the one you wanna go for, something like this. Lots and lots of variety on these V-Picks. Tons of different sounds and varieties to choose from. One of the things that might be cool for you to do if you just can't decide which one is probably just get a variety pack and see which one you would like. As a matter of fact, that's the only negative thing I can really think about these picks is deciding which one you actually like. Now, if you're into metal and shred music a lot, probably my favorite one for that is the Screamer. This pick is pretty thick and has just a really, really sharp edge on it for really, really precise picking. So if you're into that kind of stuff, progressive rock or shredding, you might want to check one of those out. Those are really awesome for that. And the Switchblade is a nice alternative that I liked to the Screamer because it's not quite as thick and has more of a traditional pick shape. So it has a really cool, nice beveled edge that gets a really, really nice sharp attack on the strings on the initial attack of the notes. So if you like to play around with your tone, I really recommend you just go to vpicks.com and you can either order on their website or you can go to your local music store and order through them too. But like I said, I probably recommend getting like a variety pack if you don't know which kind of pick you really like on there, because there's a ton of different varieties on there. If you have an idea of what kind of pick you like to use, there's a good description by each one of the picks. So go check those out, guys, and I'll see you next time.